Good morning, guys. Today is Father's Day, and so I wanted to make a segment, a little short video on how to settle your birds. Now, I probably won't be posting this video until a few days later because I won't have time to edit. We have plans to be out and about, but I'm gonna make a short video about how to settle pigeons. Now, these are all old birds that I had brought down with me from Alaska. I had flown these birds in Alaska, and I had brought down these birds with me here and flown them here. Okay, so to answer the question, can you resettle homing pigeons? The answer is yes for most of them. Not all of them, but for most of them, you can. The smart ones and the ones that knows that you moved them to a different place, they will stick around. But for the ones that don't want to stick around, they will eventually try to find home. But for the ones who love you, who knows you are their owners and their feeder, they will stick around, and even if you bring them out on short tosses and train them, they will come home. Yeah, but this is a short video on how to resettle homing pigeons. All right, on this segment, I'm going to show you how to resettle old homing pigeons or old birds, or birds if you're moving to a different area and you want to resettle your birds. Now this works for some pigeons, maybe not all pigeons, but as for me so far, I've had success. And this is what I've did ever since I was a kid. When I had pigeons and I need to resettle them, this is what I did. So the first few flight feathers, the first six, you want to cut from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, from the 6th flight feathers on up. This is what my cousin taught me when I was a kid. Okay, so you want to cut from the 6th flight feathers, okay, on up. So from the 6th flight all the way up to even this flight, to the 10th flight, you want to cut, okay? Okay, so you want to cut from the 6th flight all the way to the 10th flight, and you want to trim it right about the same size as these small feathers, okay? You see this one? I trimmed this one last year. Same thing on this side. See, this side is already molted out. You see this one's still growing back in. And these ones, they might need help to pluck, but this is what works. You cut the feathers and then you let them walk around in the yard, okay? So this is an old bird that I got from Alaska for free, and I'm keeping this for a bird stock, for a breeder. So, but this is what you do: you cut the 6th and 10th flight, and you let them walk around in the yard every day. You can see he'll eventually go back into his cage. Alright, so this is a blue bar white flight, who's also an old bird from Alaska that I got from Elena and David. I cut these flights and I let them walk around. It's been this is almost a year now. I had to cut his flights twice. As you see, one of them is still cut and molting. He's molted out most of them. But as you see, some of them still needs to be are still molting. He's still molting some of them out. Some of them have already fallen off. But yes, this is what you do. These are old birds. This is another old bird that I had to resettle from Alaska. I like to use this one for my dropper because he's the best one at returning home. So I normally just, when the birds don't come down, I normally just bring him up here, set him down here, and he just flies right back down. Yep, but these are old birds I had to resettle, and that's how you resettle old birds. And this is the other old bird that I got from Elena and David. And this is how you resettle them. You flip the flights, you let them walk around the yard, and eventually these will molt out. And by then they will know they're home. There they go. That's how you resettle old birds. All right. This is number 737. This is one of my videos from Harmeet Singh Loft. I got this bird as a replacement bird for free. This is one of my good birds, my breeders. I have not raised his babies yet, but he's a Jansen. He's a bigger bird. He's a very powerful bird, but the cousin to him was lost in Alaska, so I was given this one as a replacement bird. And that concludes the video on how to settle old birds. I mean, this system works for most birds. It won't work for all the birds. I brought like over 20 pigeons from Alaska here. Maybe, I think I brought like 30 pigeons or so. I shipped them out within like a 3 months time or something like that after I had built the loft. But they work. The system works. It's the same system I used in Alaska when I got old birds from other people. I clip their flights and let them walk around day in and day out. And then eventually when their flights grow back, they'll be able to know their area. And by then they might have bred and made some babies and stuff and whatever else. Because I usually don't like to keep prisoner birds. I usually like to let my birds fly once in a blue moon. I mean, my breeders, I really don't fly them too much, but once in a while I do like to let the old birds out to take a bath and to walk around and stuff. Yeah, but it happens. This system works if when your bird's feathers are growing back and they're starting learning how to fly, and the hawks don't come around to chase them, then they'll eventually learn how to stay as they're learning how to fly. But during those first few days, if the hawks came and attacked them while they're starting to learn how to fly, they might fly too far, too fast, and they might not know how to turn back. That's how I lost about a dozen older birds. But all the good ones stayed. The Gabby Van Diden, the Gabbies, to the Jansens, and all the other good birds, the Van Loons. Yeah, they're flown away, but they came back. My Gabby hen flown away and disappeared for 3 days. The old cock bird, the blue check bird, he flown away and disappeared for about almost 10 days. It seemed like he was living at somebody's loft, because when he came back 10 days later, I was letting the birds fly out, and he came back and joined the flock, and he came back down and went right to his nest. And I checked up on him. He was fat and healthy, so I'm pretty sure he landed with some other pigeons in the area, and somebody was feeding him, and he eventually came back. He eventually was let out or escaped or something, but he got back, and he stayed ever since. And I had road tossed some of these birds from a short mile toss, and they did find their way home because they've been flying and ranging and all that stuff. But this system works if your pigeons aren't attacked by hawks during the first month of them learning how to fly when their feathers are going back. For most birds. Some birds eventually do fly back if their old loft is near you, but in most cases, they'll stay. If they like what you're doing, if they like what you're feeding them, if they like their vitamins and nutrition, if they like their home loft, if they like their nesting area, and all that good stuff. Yeah, so this concludes the segment, the video of how to resettle your old birds, how to resettle homing pigeons. Okay? And I hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe. This is in some way to help some of you people who don't believe that old birds can't be resettled. They can if you know what you're doing. And if all the things are right, if the loft is right, and if the breedings is right, and all the requirements are met, they'll most likely stay and fly back to you. But that's that. Thank you. I hope you like this video, and I hope you subscribe. Thank you for everything. And thank you for tuning in.